Hello everybody, and today we are starting week 3 of Gamenightathon. Today we are starting to read for a new team. We are reading for Team Diamond this week. So far there's only been one member who has contributed anything for Team Diamond, so I will be helping out here, I think. Like, for most teams I feel like I'm currently just putting the numbers down, but I think here I can actually have a contribution unless I have a horrible reading week, so I hope I didn't just jinx myself by saying this. But so yeah, I am in the middle of this book right now, The Eights by Joanna Miller, so I'm reading this one for the 5th prompt for the readathon at this point in time. So my 5th prompt was the birthday cake, and basically reading this book is a gift to myself, as if it were my birthday. But it is my birthday month, so I feel like I'm valid in that, right? But so this is a book, it is a historical fiction book about the first women who were like officially enrolled in the University of Oxford, knowing that they would get an Oxford degree down the line, because before that women had been already allowed to take classes there, but they were not allowed to get an Oxford degree at the end of it. So even though they took all the necessary classes and took the same classes that their male counterparts did, these male counterparts at the end got an Oxford degree to boast about and use in their professional career, and the women didn't get that up until that point. And so these are the first women who are like officially matriculated or enrolled into Oxford University. So we're following 4 women in it. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not as like hooked as I hoped I was gonna be. So it's not like something that I can steamroll through. It's something that I'm just like slowly chipping away at. I'm enjoying my time with it, but you know, it's not a page turner. Let me phrase it like that. And then I have also taken the time to take a few prompts to you know, like shuffle for another few prompts and make my way along the board for those. So I'll be showing those right after this clip, but basically I do have a few other things lined up, and so I basically had 2 other prompts that I selected, and then for both of those I chose a book that I'm going to be physically reading, so I had to choose a 3rd prompt as well in order to be able to choose another audiobook. Now today I'm unexpectedly at home because I'm dealing with a headache. It's now dissipated luckily, but like the entire upper body is still like super like stiff or like tensed up, I guess, and so like there's back pain, there's shoulder pain, there's neck pain. So I'm hoping that my physio can solve this tonight, that she can massage it out of there a little bit. But so I'm unexpectedly at home, so I haven't been able to start it. Like I haven't started the audiobook yet, because normally I listen to the audiobook on my commutes to work. So I don't know, because the headache has disappeared at this point in time, I'm feeling up to starting to read a little bit now, and so I'll probably read a little bit in The Eights by Joanna Miller, but I might also already start the big chunker for the next prompts that is coming up, which is a big chunker. It's also the one for which I finally have a little bit of a punishment, because up until now I've been able to navigate the maze with just like 1 move every single time, but this is the first time that I was unable to make it to where I needed to be on the board in 1 move. So I do have like 200 negative points that will be associated with that book, but it is a total brick. So I am hoping to finish it within the next 2 weeks. I am going to be doing a spoiler-filled vlog for it, as I have for the other books within that series, but I will also talk a little bit about it here in a non-spoilery fashion. But so yeah, let's just dive into reading, see what my body is saying, because, you know, typically I like to read lying down. We'll see what the back thinks of that. The back is kind of protesting me sitting here right now, so hopefully it'll be a little bit happier when I lay down.
I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you try me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could strike.
Hello, it is Friday evening. I've just filmed my June wrap up in order to update you guys about what I've read so far this month. But I thought I'd also talk to you about a book that I've just picked up because I ordered this book from the local bookstore, which is Hunger by Choi Jin-young. This is a book translated from Korean and it's a book about cannibalism. So it reads, a woman finds her man murdered on the street and time stands still until she cradles his corpse to her chest and carries it home, where she disinfects every inch of skin before seating herself to begin. What follows reverberates from this realm into the next, where the man is witnessing his own funeral. Together the lovers lament a lifetime of working themselves to the bone in a country sucking everyone dry, but time's up. The woman is already eating, entombing the body in her own, where her soulmate will live again. The word of mouth sensation that's on everybody's lips, Hunger is a psychologically and philosophically thrilling cult classic that cuts to the very heart of love, money, and the things they do to us. So yeah, I was recommended this one by, I think it was either Natalie or Charlotte who asked me whether this was on my radar. I think it was Natalie who asked me whether this was on my radar because I'm gathering a sort of reputation for being a cannibalism book lover. And yes, this was not on my radar yet, but I made sure to immediately buy it. So thank you very much for that recommendation, and I hope that I will get to this very soon. But so yeah, it's Friday night. I am cooking at this point in time. I am going to be sitting down with the aids, which I'm enjoying even more at this point in time. I think I mentioned in the previous clip that I'm enjoying it, but I'm not as sucked into it as I was hoping I was going to be. And now I'm really starting to feel like I have real grasp of these women and am very much more invested into what happens to them. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving back into that and getting a little further along. And then for my audiobook, I've started the Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy. This is a trans book about a man, or like a boy. I'm not entirely sure about their ages basically, but so they are young adults, I think. It's a boy who basically takes the place of his best friend, who is a girl who should be kind of like recruited to the local coven or to a coven that is passing by, and she doesn't really want to and he does want to. And so he basically says like, okay, I've been wanting to be a girl all my life, I've been wanting to be a witch all my life, how about I pretend to be a girl and take your place? And so that's the story that we're following here. But I don't know whether this sound has reached here, but my clock time, my kitchen clock has just gone off, so it's time to get the potatoes before they overboil. Overboil, is that even a word in English? I don't know. It is the Monday morning, so Monday the 21st. It is the national holiday in Belgium, so I have a day off and I am planning to use this day off to the benefit of my apartment, because I am a messy person by nature and I procrastinate on everything that I don't like doing, and cleaning is one of the things that I hate the most out of every activity. So my plan for today is to deal with the mess that is my apartment and get it sorted. So I've made a list of tasks that I have to do today, and it's a mix of filming, editing and cleaning. So it is ambitious, but I removed quite a few things from it that I in principle want to get done today. But I'm basically gonna focus on doing the laundry, cleaning the floors and filming and editing. And so I hope to get a lot of tidying done as well. There's a lot of stuff lying around, especially in my living room, that should find its proper spots and all those things, but it did not make it onto my list because I didn't want my list to become so overwhelming that I just don't do it, because I'm just like, you know what, it's not possible for me to do it. So I hopefully will focus on the actual tasks that are on that list first, and then if possible get around to other stuff. But the first thing on that list that makes sense sense for me to get done right now is to take a shower. So I started my day off, I mean, not late, but I definitely would have hoped for a little bit of an earlier start, but I think around 8:30 or something like that is when I got out of bed, made the list and what all of those things. And then I put on a video to kind of like wake up properly, and in my mind this video was half an hour, but it turned out to be like an hour and 4 minutes. So it was probably not the best way to start my day off. It would probably been better to like reward myself with that video by the end of the day, but okay. We have had our relaxation time. It is time to get cracking. So I'm gonna take a shower now, and then I'm gonna sort out the trash situation, which is also something on the list that I forgot to mention, because when I came back from holiday, one of my trash bins that is inside had a ton of sort of like maggots in it, and so I moved that whole bin to the balcony and dealt with the whole maggot thing and stuff like that. It's been out on the balcony for a week and a half or something like that now. There's definitely no potential maggots there anymore, and I definitely need to move that bit in at this point in time, because it is where I put like my plastics, and then it's also one for sort of like the general waste, and moving all of that out onto the balcony with my natural laziness just means that there is like plastic laying around for a few days before I move it all out onto the balcony, and so I definitely want my trash bins back where they used to be, so that I can just like get sorted on that again. But I will definitely also take the opportunity to clean the floor in there first, because that is a big spot of the floor space in there that typically is a little bit more annoying to access, that now is like fully accessible. So I will take the opportunity for the bins to still be out to tackle the whole floor there first. So showering next, cleaning the pantry floor, cleaning the litter box while I'm at it because it's also in that pantry, and then moving the trash cans back in there and collecting all the little bits of trash that are lying around willy-nilly. Ideally I would love to also tackle my class at this point in time, but I am not going to be that ambitious. So it's a one to get to, so hopefully I'll get to it later within the day still, but it is not a necessity. So yeah, let's just get cracking. Let's take that shower first, because then when I film later, at least the hair is looking freshened up again. But so yeah. When it comes to reading, I'll be listening to the audiobook for The Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy for most of the day, I assume. I have finished 2 books since the time that I last updated you guys, and I'll talk about those when I find the time for that later today. Updating this video is definitely also on the schedule of my planned tasks for today, so I will get around to it. I want to get started on this first, even though this is a task on my list. I do want to just like get started on the actual cleaning aspect for it. I think the filming and editing, if anything, it's going to be a case of having put too much on my list and not being able to achieve as much as I wanted to, but it is like something that I will get to. It's not something that I procrastinate on. The only reason I procrastinate on it sometimes is just like the lighting and stuff like that, but when it comes to cleaning, like there's definitely procrastination. I shared a shot of my messy living room with my Discord, so hopefully that will keep me accountable. Otherwise I have to invite somebody to my apartment to keep me accountable, I guess, but I just need to get some cleaning done finally. So yeah, let me finally get a move on, because keeping on talking to you guys is another way for me to just procrastinate on this. Alright, so it is almost 1 o'clock. I have done the pantry floors, I've showered, I've cooked lunch for me. I've done a few extra things that I didn't need to do, but so currently I just done the kitchen floor as well. So basically in terms of like the mentioned cleaning on the list, the only thing I really need to do is sort of like the hallway floor, the living room floor, and then the sorting of the trash, but that's more or less done. And then I'll have to cook again tonight, which is yesterday's Cleo's fault, because yesterday's Cleo did not want to like cook. She made like instant ramen, and so today's Cleo has to cook twice, so that, I mean, I could just cook the one time and then eat the same thing tonight, but yeah, preferably I'll cook something else tonight so that tomorrow night I can eat leftovers from lunch, and the night after I can eat the leftovers from dinner. But that means that we are on a roll kind of with the goals. I think with the list we are quite far along. I think the next sort of like hour, because I'm doing hourly check-ins over on Discord, in the next hour I'll probably try to film the mid-year sort of like reflection tag. But before we do that, I need to update this vlog, because I need to talk about the 2 books that I have actually already finished for Team Diamond. So score-wise, I basically lowered the score a whole ton. I hope to still up the ante quite a lot with the rest of my reading that's going to happen throughout this, well, not this week, throughout the 3 days that I still have to read for Team Diamond. But I did finish out, first of all, I finished The Eights by Joanna Miller. So this is the book for my 5th prompt, which was the birthday cake. So this was basically the gift to myself to be allowed to pick this book up. And I'm definitely very happy that I did so. I was kind of initially a little bit disappointed in my progress with it. So I was sort of like expecting this to be like a book that I was gonna love. And initially I was like not struggling with it, but just not going through it as quickly as I had hoped to, not as invested in the lives of these 4 women, but definitely towards the second half of this book I was all invested in figuring out like what was going to happen with these women and getting to see their daily life. It definitely doesn't have like a huge emphasis on like the misogyny. It's definitely there at the background of everything. It determines their entire lives. It's determining their entire choices. But it's not like we are like it's an in-your-face feminism book or anything like that neither. It's very much focused on the life of these 4 women, and through them we get to see quite a lot of the things that happened around that time, which also of course touch upon misogyny, but I loved it in the end. Like, it's a 4.5 star, it's not like an absolute new favorite or anything like that, but I definitely loved it a whole lot, and by the end I definitely was very much invested with these women, and by the end I also just want even more of this. I will give me more interbellum period, or period like right after World War II even, just like give me these periods in time in which a lot of things were changing for, specifically then for women, and the sort of like tensions that had as a consequence. I would love to see more of that fictionalized. And then I did also finish the next book, because the next book is basically just like a very short one. So this was for the wheelchair prompt. I read Hunchback by Saou Ichikawa. This is translated from the Japanese, and this is weird, guys. If you like Sayaka Murata, give this book a go, because it's definitely along the same veins, as in like it very much crosses over lines of what many readers or people just in general will find appropriate, but it's doing that deliberately to discuss certain things and to make you reflect about like, why is this making me uncomfortable, why is this too far. So I definitely think that that is really interesting about this one. This is a book that looks at a woman who has a congenital muscular dystrophy, and I was interested in the book because of that, because I have muscular dystrophy, but it's definitely very different from mine. Like, there is some it has to do with like the reduced physical muscle capabilities, but mainly she has a lot of issues with like the esophagus, is that how you say it? And with mucus piling up and stuff like that, and so she's like on a ventilator and stuff like that. So that's very unfamiliar to me, because that is not something that is affected by my muscular dystrophy at all, but still it was a very interesting book for me to read. And so we're looking at this woman, and she basically spends her time writing erotic novels and giving that money back to the community, but she is a little bit of an anomaly when it comes to the stereotypical view of disabled woman, in the sense that she is actually very wealthy because her parents left her a whole lot of money. She's basically the owner of the assisted living place that she is living at, and so she has a big fortune at her disposal. And so a lot of this is also about how disability cannot be narrowed down into one view, and about breaking the mold of what is seen as the typical idea of disability and of victimhood that is typically associated with that. And so this book has an ending that definitely makes you rethink the book and makes you question, and you could definitely kind of go and reread it right after finishing it and interpret or see things in a different light as a consequence of what the ending is. And I've since also read that what this also kind of refers to is a horrible act that took place in like 2016, and I don't know when this was originally published in 2023, I think, in Japanese. So in 2016 apparently an event took place that is kind of referred to in that final section of this book, and so it's possibly inspired by those real life events. I don't know that because I didn't look further into that, but in one of the reviews somebody referred to something that happened in 2016 in Japan that is very close to what happens at the end of this book. And so yeah, while this is a very short book, it's under 100 pages long, and for a big chunk of it I was like unclear whether I was enjoying it or not, because as I said, she's an erotic writer, and some of the things mentioned in it definitely are quite like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, yes, sure, disabled women definitely have desires, and disabled women are kind of seen as asexual, and so it's nice to see this representation of a disabled woman with sexual desires. But there's definitely weird stuff with that. Like, she expresses a wish to get pregnant to be able to abort, because she wants to have that ability to abort like any other women would have. But you know, those are some really weird thoughts that are expressed within this book, for example. Just to give you an idea about like why I was like, I don't know how to feel about a lot of stuff within this book. But then that ending happened, and then that ending was like so interesting to make me rethink a lot of what had happened in the book thus far. And I do think that thematically it is also, in any case, very interesting to discuss in terms of the vision of what a disabled person is, and then a realistic portrayal of the way in which a disabled person can be as messed up as everybody else, clearly. But so yeah, I finished that, and currently I have started The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu. Now I'm going to mainly be talking about that in another vlog, so that is not really going to be part of this vlog here. I think I'll probably already have more than enough content to really talk about it here. In any case, I will do a spoiler-filled vlog for that one. But so I started that one yesterday. I was a little bit like not feeling it, but after a few pages I was already like back into the story and back into this world, and very eager to go back into it. And so I think I won't really have issues with that anymore from now on, because it was just that I was just really enjoying myself with picking stuff up spur of the moment, when this book then, which is like the one book that I was really like highest priority for me to get through this month, started to feel like a chore almost for me to get to. But now that I've started, I don't feel like it is a chore anymore. It's a privilege and a delight to be able to experience this story now. But so yeah, time to get back into some cleaning and get some things further crossed off of that list, and updating this vlog along with starting my Veiled Throne vlog are now two further things that I can cross off as having been accomplished.
I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not
Eek. Alright, it is 7:30. We are close to the final thing on my to-do list for today, and the final thing on my to-do list is editing. And I'm not looking forward to that, but I have cleaned the floors of the hallway, the pantry, the kitchen, the living room. I've tidied up quite a fair bit within the living room. I've done 2 loads of laundry. I have cooked 2 meals. I have made lemonade. I have done a lot today, and I am very proud of that, at least. And the way that yesterday's Clio made cooking today's Clio's problem, I'm not going to make editing tomorrow's Clio problem. So we are editing right now, and then I can be done. And you know, part of me is like, yeah, but now I just want to sit down and read. But I have also been reading a ton today, because I have gotten through 168 pages in the Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy. So we are making progress when it comes to reading as well. And so yeah, let's just buckle up, read the rest of, no, not read, edit the rest of that video that needs to go up in 2 nights. And then I actually think I might try a craft project. We'll see.
Will you kiss me? Will you play? Will you trust me? Ain't no way I could deny you. I could try. Will you kiss me? Ain't no way.
Hello, I have finished 2 books since the last time I updated you guys, so I thought I would come in here and talk to you guys about it. It is the final night of this vlog, the final night in which I will be reading for Team Diamond. So far I've read the most for Team Diamond out of all 3 teams that I've read for so far. I've also decided to change the point system a little bit for this readathon, because so far I was basically kind of taking the average of all the scores, but I was counting myself as a full participant for each and every one of the teams. But that meant that for some teams I had a bigger impact negatively than for other teams, and so I think I landed on a pretty decent system right now. So now I'm averaging the scores of all the full-time team members, and then for the points that I contribute, I'm dividing them by 2. So I do still have a decent impact. So I've been gaining, like, at the lowest so far has been 660 points. So I've added like 330 points to that team, for example. But it also means that, you know, it means that I have an impact, but it also to some extent still reduces the impact. If I read like 60 pages more for one team than for the other, then it doesn't have the whole 60 of a consequence, it just has 30 of a consequence. But so yeah, I have changed that system. Just wanted to mention that here as well. I have already mentioned it on the Discord, so the people over there are already aware of it. And I did also kind of discuss it with some of them there as well. But so, the books that I finished in the meantime is I finished my audiobook, which was the Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy. This is a fantasy novel about a transgender girl who wants to become a witch, but she is not really destined for that life path, but her friend is, and her friend doesn't want to become a witch. Her friend would much rather go in and become a knight. So they decide to basically kind of switch. So the trans girl decides, so her name is Laurel, she decides to pretend to be her friend so that she can go off with the witches when they come to claim her and train to become a witch. And so it is about her basically hiding her true identity from the people that she is now spending most of her time with, because she's afraid that if they find out that she has been lying to them, that, you know, horrible things will happen. You know, originally she's just like afraid that they will turn her away, but after a while she starts to fear like, okay, but what if they're gonna give actually way more consequences when they figure out that I've been lying to them all this time. But this story is about more than just following her story. We also follow the sort of mystery surrounding a blight that has been that's not a word, that has been terrorizing the neighborhood. And so we will be exploring those two things throughout this story. I enjoyed this one definitely. It is a nice fantasy story, a good fantasy story. I love the representation in it. I had a good time with it, but as I think I said with a previous book as well within this vlog probably, it was a good book. It's just like not a new favorite. It's not something that like completely blew me away or I was super engrossed in, but I did enjoy all of my time with it, and I do definitely think if you've never read a witchy story featuring a transgender protagonist, then definitely give this one a go. But in any case, like, it's always nice to read more of those, have more of those under your belt as well, and get to experience that perspective more. And so I definitely appreciated that aspect to the story a whole lot, and it definitely is still a decent story. Aside from that, it's just nothing new in the sense of like, it's not something that I had like super deep thoughts about or was very much like enchanted with. And then the other thing that I finished in the meantime is, oh yeah, a graphic novel. So yesterday I decided to read a graphic novel because I did do 2 more spins, which you will have seen, or like spins. I drew 2 more cards. For the first one I drew the blood icon. So I don't remember what the original card showed, but so that corresponded to a blood bag in my iconography for Gamenightathon. And I gave you guys some choices there, or like gave you guys the option to give me choices, but then I very quickly realized that I actually have the perfect book for that, because this week is also the week of Camp Summerween, which is organized by Denise over from the channel Chaos in the Enchanted Forest. I was gonna say Camp Enchanted. It's actually Camp Enchanted, right? What did I say? Camp Summerween? No, Camp Enchanted. And so this week we have a camp week, and you can earn, so this is a 1-week readathon in which you can earn a ton of badges, and they also have different levels, and like you grow in those levels throughout the years. And so before that readathon there is a group book, and the group book is Summer Vamp, and that is a vampire summer camp book. So and it is a graphic novel, and so I was like, yeah, I mean, it would be perfect, you know, like it wasn't necessarily a priority for me to get this book in, but it was the perfect prompt to quickly get it in. And so that is the thing that I read yesterday evening. So yesterday evening I was really tired. I fell asleep in the sofa, because otherwise I would have done this update last night. But so I fell asleep in the sofa after having my dinner. I think it might have been the lactose, that my body just spent too much energy fighting lactose, that I just fell asleep. And so when I woke up, I like woke myself up properly by reading this book. And so this is a graphic novel about a girl whose father is basically in a new relationship, and they are about to move in together, and so she doesn't really know yet how she feels about this, but his new partner has basically offered a gift to the girl, Maya her name is, and sent her to a cooking camp. And cooking is like Maya's favorite thing to do. And so Maya sets off on this camp. However, when she like gets to the bus stop, she's not entirely sure where which bus is hers, and she thinks she's getting on the right one, but it drops her off at a different camp, and a camp that will turn out to be a little bit different than other summer camps. So it is a camp for vampires. I like this story. It's a story about kind of coming into yourself. Maya is somebody who's very much struggling with standing up for herself, being able to be her authentic self, share her experiences, her thoughts, her feelings. She's very much like anxious about what people will think about her, and so she's like always hesitating before speaking, and that leads to other people kind of speaking over her or speaking for her. And so I like this story kind of tackling that and kind of getting her to come into her own, getting her to become more comfortable with speaking up for herself. But there is some suspension of disbelief that needs to happen with this story, of course, because this is a kid who shows up to the wrong camp, and sure, like the person who her identity is kind of switched with was called Maya instead of like Mia instead of Maya. But even then, I would think that, you know, this Mia person must have at some point shown up at the bus stop and been like, hey, where's the bus? And contacted the camp. Or like if she got onto the other bus, she was dropped off at a culinary camp, which definitely was not the camp that she was signing up for. So a lot of suspension of disbelief with this beginning and with figuring out that there would have been no way for like this would have gone smoothly. I mean, who knows, maybe this Mia person really didn't want to go to vampire camp and was super happy to end up in a culinary camp. But yeah, that was like my adult brain having to suspend its disbelief about the fact that this would actually happen, that she would spend weeks in the wrong camp without anybody realizing. But so yeah, that's where we are at right now. So now I'm about ready to go and cook, which means I will be continuing on with my audiobook. So today I had to start a new audiobook, and the next prompt that I drew is the sickle, for which I will be reading Clown in a Cornfield by Adam something. I don't remember the last name, but so yeah. Did I have much of an interest in this book? Like not a ton, but it was also not a book that I had zero interest in. It definitely would be something that I might consider for like Halloween time. I am definitely thinking that maybe this year I do want to try and read seasonally for Halloween and kind of delve into the horror genre. Because I do for years already want to read more horror and never seem to get around to, so that would be perfect. And so within that project, this book would probably pop up. Would it be the absolute priority? Maybe not, but I am happy to sample it now to see what I feel about it. I haven't looked into the premise. I am very early on in the book, so I cannot really say anything about this book yet, but so that's what I've started listening to. So I'll listen to a little bit more of that while cooking, and then I'll try to get a little bit further into The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu, because I haven't been reading a ton in that. I'm only like 40 pages into that one, so that'll have to be like the priority for next week, and I might not even get through it within the month of July. But so yeah, I'm gonna try and rack up as many points as still possible for Team Diamond, and then we will see where we end up. I will give an update tomorrow somewhere to let you guys know how many points I've racked up for Team Diamond in the end. And I mean, I don't expect to still finish something tonight, so it'll probably just be an update about how much reading I've done in total. But so yeah, it's time to get cooking. Good morning, everybody. So I did still get some reading done. I did manage to get like close to the 100 mark in The Veiled Throne last night, and then I guess I was also still listening to a little bit of Clown in a Cornfield after my update. I don't know, but I got like, I think, a quarter of the way into Clown in a Cornfield in the end. But so yeah, we are finishing off the week for Team Diamond. I have scored 879 points for the team, but as indicated in the earlier clip, like my points are divided by 2, so that is just under 440 points. It's the highest amount that I've read so far for a team, but if I want to make my like reading goals for this month, I will have to up the ante even further next week for Team Heart. But so yeah, with that having been said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know how you are all doing and what you're reading at the moment, and see you guys for the next one. Bye!